This is New School Marketing Podcast for real estate pros, where the very best of real estate reveal their latest systems and strategies. With your host, Marlon Aquino.
What's up, guys? Marlon Aquino here. Today, we're going to be talking about how to use video and specifically storytelling on videos and how to use that to grow your brand. This person particularly uses humor and many other things. So, guys, help me welcome this amazing, talented, super skillful, top producer, realtor out of South Florida, Derrick Gregory.
What's up, dude? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How's the audio now? I could hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's much better. I feel like we're going into this like just jumping right into it.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is, because unfortunately I use this software. If I don't start the live by a certain time, it like throws
You're
off
done.
everything that I've set up here. So
Sure.
and I wanted to hop on earlier, but I myself was on another podcast just like right before this too. But I was excited because I've been waiting for a while to interview you, man. So I can't wait to dive right in. How's your week going?
Crazy.
Crazy, huh? I mean, dude,
Yeah.
last a rough couple of days, but you just like, I don't know, you make it seem like it's just another day.
Everyone has stuff that happens, throughout the week and things that come up and just crazy stuff. But it definitely is the show must go on. As much as that's as crazy as it is, it's like just stuff keeps going. You got to keep going with it.
Yeah, my dad said, don't get too excited to solve these problems you have now, because there'll be another set of problems right around the corner.
No doubt. Yeah. It's been an interesting week. I appreciate you. You've been reaching out a couple of times about doing this, and so I feel like for me, when stuff goes crazy, it's just kind of hopping back into the flow of things. Is for me at least, it's keeping busy, keeps my mind off of all the craziness, so to speak. So yeah, I appreciate you having me on, man. For real.
No, it's an honor, and you've obviously, like you said, my condolences. We know you recently lost your grandpa, Opa.
Opa, man. He's in heaven eating donuts as we speak.
Yeah, literally watching that. Look at this, trying to act like now. You gave me such a good an impression of who he was that I could picture him, like you said, now in heaven eating donuts, looking down, saying, "Oh yeah,
Dude,
here's this son of a gun," trying to pretend he's a real, serious real.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. No, it's good, man. I mean, it was difficult, and you were very kind enough. You're like, hey, man, if you don't want to do this, because of all that stuff going on. I appreciate that. But no, I was very fortunate. I had a lot of people don't really have big relationship with their grandparents, or maybe, their grandparents are gone, a lot earlier. So I was very fortunate to have such an awesome grandparent for as long as I did. Yeah. So I'm blessed.
I practically was raised by my grandmother. So
you were? Okay.
I feel like I understand that relationship. Yeah.
Dude,
I just got married August 28th.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And because of her early stage of dementia, they didn't know if it was going to be possible for her to fly and come out here to California.
Oh, wow.
She's in Tampa, Florida now. Everyone knew how important it was to me. And she was such a trooper and was like, there's no way I'm going to miss this. Even though there were days where she was like, no, I can't go. Go where?
Yeah.
My wedding.
Yeah. Who are you?
Exactly. Who are you marrying? But no, she made it out, and
that's great, man.
I know what you talk. I know. I feel like I can relate.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's like everyone at some point in their life is going to deal with loss, and everyone deals with it differently. And obviously, we'll talk a lot about humor and all that sort of stuff. And dude, it's just the way I had did a post, everyone in my family. I mean, obviously everyone's dealing with loss completely different. And it's just kind of this moment, everyone's going through the different emotions of that. And for me, it's like humor in every aspect of my life. It's like something that I, just lean into, whether I'm comfortable, uncomfortable, whatever the case is. It's like humor is that thing, that my space that I lean into. And so it's like, even being able to use that, obviously I use it for real estate and work and business, but just with kind of in day-to-day life and interactions and things like that, it definitely was a much needed thing given the situation. So
I think we'd all wish we had that kind of perspective, man, because that's what it really is. I think that's what I love so much about comedians. They find a way to turn really dark into, a joke. humor. It's that's tough, man. That's tough.
Oh yeah, man. And by no means am I a comedian, but it's
Well, yeah, well, that's debatable. That's debatable. But yeah, man, you might not think so, but I was just talking to the last person I was talking to is Norman. I'm not sure if you know Norman from Liftoff Agent, and
yeah.
and he's like, yeah, dude, dude, please like pass word. Like I gotta have this guy on my podcast too. He's amazing. He's doing great stuff. And I'm like, yep, I know. I have him on.
Dude, I got to be honest with you. Again, if I'm just being very vulnerable here, like for whatever it is, like with podcasts, it just gets me like, I don't know, man. Like it's funny. Like we were talking, you're like, oh, it's just like an Instagram live. And for whatever reason, like when I do Instagram lives, I'm like totally comfortable. But something about like a podcast just makes me feel like I'm gonna mess something up, and then you know what I mean. Like I get like super.
Yeah.
So I definitely, I'll be honest. It's not that I don't want to do them. It's just like I for sure try to avoid them. So, but I appreciate you.
It's like being, when you're the class clown. I remember I was the class clown, and sometimes parts of growing up. But the second, funny, cracking jokes in the back, real funny, right, guys? The second I had to go up and make a speech.
Yeah. Exactly. Which is funny
balls.
because it's like I feel like with a lot of this stuff, it's like people just assume that you're like comfortable in every aspect of any sort of entertainment, and it's just not true at all. Same thing with videos too. Like I feel, for a while there, it's just something you have to a muscle that you have to work and get comfortable with. A great analogy that I heard was it's kind of like it's like juggling as far as like learning how to juggle. Like a lot of times people are like, oh, you get a bunch of balls and you just start throwing them up. But the process of learning is just throwing one ball up and down repetitively until it's like a muscle memory. And the same way with any of this stuff, it's like like maybe some people it comes a bit more naturally, but it's still a muscle that you have to work and get comfortable with. And so saying that's one thing. For me, podcast is something I'm definitely uncomfortable with, but I'm like, dude, you gotta get over it. So here I am.
The way that you're going, get comfortable, man, because everyone's gonna start, wanting to do more of this. The way you're going, honestly, I could see you on stage speaking,
thank you, man.
being like a real estate influencer stuff. So yeah, man,
for sure would have a heart attack doing that. So
right,
maybe...
no, man.
I'm just trying to get through this podcast,
No, let me see. No, it's funny. No, honestly, like you're gonna see. I know what you mean, though. When you sent me that text, you were like, "Oh, I'm nervous." I'm like, all right,
yeah.
Here he goes, joking, being funny again. Because I've seen you on lives, man. It's a party.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, this is gonna be a good talk.
No, I'm happy, man. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, thank you, brother. So let's get on with it, right? Before we get into the gritty stuff. What were you doing before real estate, man? Like, why real estate?
Why real estate? So my parents were missionaries. So I actually grew up in the Fiji Islands. The Fiji bottled water, I swam in that. That's why
I have a deep connection to that water.
Yeah. They were missionaries. So I grew up in Fiji. So literally all my formative years and that whole childhood experience was in a third world country, which I would say a big part of like the creativity and videos and all that sort of stuff. Me and my brother literally had nothing else to do. So we would make skits and videos and just kind of goof off. So, but yeah, we grew up over there. And then when we were 16, 17, so I'm originally from California as well. Yeah. Are you in Southern California?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
But I'm not from California. I'm technically from like Miami, Florida. But
Miami? All right. Pitbull, dude. Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. 305, yeah.
Yeah. So I originally from California, family moved to Fiji, grew up there. We moved back to the States. When we were moving back, my grandparents retired to Florida. So we ended up out here, and when I was 17, I got a job as it was like a secretary at a real estate office. It was actually the lady that sold my parents their house when we moved to Florida. Literally had no job experience. The only job experience I had was whenever we were in Fiji. My mom is a great baker. She would make cookies and stuff, and I would go and sell them to people at like they'd have like a tea time in Fiji. So I'd go and sell cookies. And so that's, I guess, my initial introduction into sales.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we came here. I worked at a real estate office as a secretary. I was like, I think I could do this. So I just ended up getting licensed. There was a couple other things in between. I worked at Sherwin-Williams, and I was like, dude, this is not for me. Like and I had people whenever I worked at the real estate office like, oh, you could do real estate. Like you got a good personality. I think you do well. And so I was like, okay, say, and just got into it. Yeah.
Lo and behold,
Lo and behold.
that's how it worked out for me. When I went to college, I had no idea about wanting to do acting, which is the reason why I actually moved down here to California from Florida originally.
Nice.
Yeah, the teacher goes, I did a play just for like a free A, really. You're taking electives, you start picking the easy class. You're like, all right, well, I need to raise this 2.0 GPA, acting. You start picking all the easy. I ended up getting, bit by the acting bug, as they say. And I remember that teacher said, I've just seen a star been born. I was like, if that wasn't enough for me to like quit, drop out of college and move out here, I don't know.
You were in.
But that did it. Yeah. So I get it, man. You never know where your calling's going to come from. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of times too, I think people are not sure of what they want to do. And I think sometimes that's okay. Like a lot of times, like you can do things, and as you grow and get older, like learn things that you enjoy, things you don't like, and eventually get into a space of something that, it's something you love. And some people, it's different. Like they know, like I'm doing this and this is what I'm doing. And I'm burning all the ships and like, this is what I'm doing. Like there's no other option. And I think other people, it's just like, they're not, because I remember too, it's like I had graduated, like I literally had no clue what I wanted to do. Like there wasn't, like I had interests and things like that, but there wasn't really a particular thing that I'm like, this is what I'm doing. The nice thing about being licensed as a real estate agent, I did music as well. So I was in a touring band, and that's honestly the thing that I'm like, if I could pick what I, could do for a living, it would be a musician. Like I just loved it. And I think with music and that whole process, like I feel like I learned a lot of the things that I'm implementing now into real estate. So to back up to my point, it's like, even if you're doing something that's not going to be like your full-time thing or what you'll be doing full-time, like I think if you have a willingness to learn, and there's so many teachable things that you can get from different things in your life. So it's like, you might be doing one thing. It's like, this is what I want to do, and I'm learning this skill or whatever this is, and then be able to use it in another field. You know what I mean? So even right? Like acting and for sure, like what you're doing now, like that ties in with it.
Oh, totally. I mean, if anything, I feel like since I've delved into marketing the last 2 years, I've learned a lot more things for acting, actually. I mean, right? You're saying, what's helping you sell is storytelling. Yeah. So, I mean, at the core, there's really a lot that's really similar. But no, it's like what you said, man. Just like you, I didn't know what I wanted to do. The only thing I tell people is if I could go back and change one thing, it would be that I would try more things.
Yeah.
Because again, right? I thought that I needed to have the thing or a thing, like a lot of people did. And reality, if you're in that situation, the best thing to do is try it all. Like Gary Vee says, hey man, in your 20s, experiment, fail, fall flat on your face. You still have all your 30s to build an empire and build the life that you want. But for me, I was mainly like focused on acting. So, once I hit 30, like that started changing because I wanted more control out of my life. And with acting, you can only control so many things.
Oh, yeah. I would say that's the case for a lot of things. Like a lot of things are, you can control what you can control, but
real estate, I mean, hey, is this one video gonna bring you a sale, bring you a lead? No, probably not. Is the next 50? Probably not. You might not be getting business in there unless you're doing maybe 100, 200. But if you don't keep at it, you don't get there. So yeah, man.
Well, that's definitely a thing I look at a lot. And there's a lot of people, they're like, hey, so if I do videos, does that turn into deals? And it's almost like people want a formula of how many videos equals how many sales. And it doesn't work like that. But also that's how it is, I feel, with anything, like, especially if we're talking real estate, like if you're buying leads on Zillow, just because you buy 10 leads or 15 leads, it doesn't mean you're going to get 15 sales, right? So it's the same thing with videos. It's like, but the nice thing I feel with video is that if you're purchasing leads, you might, so say you buy 10 leads and maybe you'll get a sale out of that, maybe not. Obviously you have 10 contacts that you can save and put them in your database and work them. And eventually maybe at some point that turns into a sale. The thing with video, but after that month passes, like that's it. The nice thing with video is you might get people that watch the video, that like it, that were entertained by it, and they might not be ready to buy now, but it has the same formula as far as like if you're consistent with it to where people watch. But the nice thing with video is that it lives for forever. You know what I mean? Like you could, like there's videos that I've done a year ago that someone could just now see today, and it hits with them and lands with them, and then they end up buying. Whereas if you're buying leads, whatever you purchase for that month is kind of what you get and what you have to work. So
yeah. Oh my gosh, you're on point. So since we're already on that topic a little bit, I guess let's really kind of dive into that topic specifically, I guess, because I'm sure you, like you said, you're getting a lot of people that are asking, I can't believe this. How many questions, how many videos do you need to do to get, get a sale out of it? But for you, I mean, just like storytelling specifically, I kind of just want to tie that in back with some of your history background, right? Because like you said, you wrote skits with your brother that you guys played out, filmed. You were involved in music, you do music. So you also, like you're saying, a lot of that passion is also translating into what you're doing in the videos. So, I mean, could you just kind of just go a little bit into that? Because I mean, I'll tell you, like even some of my clients, for them, they're wanting to do video. A lot of the time, they're just like, the thought of like if they look at your video, man, they don't even know how to get started with theirs. Okay.
Yeah.
They're like, how do I do that? Like it's like, you do that.
It's discouraging. Right.
It's discouraging for a lot of people. Yeah.
But I think the thing is not everyone starts at the same place. It's like you look at someone that has some weight they want to lose, right? Like you could go into the gym and you see a dude with abs and traps up to his temple. And it's like, dude, that sucks. I don't look like that. I'm not going to do it. But like, I feel like what's the word? Like a universal, like fundamental truth. Like if you don't put in the work, like you'll never reap the benefit of the results. So it's literally the same, like it applies for everything, business, life, like relationships, like all these sort of things. It's like, if you don't put in the work and start, it's like, you'll never be able to reap the rewards of the work that you put in. And so I feel like fitness is a very good comparison to what you're talking about with video, because definitely the videos that I first did are not what I'm doing now. But had I not started and made the mistakes and screwed up and had, the errors and learned from all of that, like I never would have gotten to that product that you see today. And so it's tough because I think, and I'm very much of that mindset too. It's like you want, I don't know, like I know a lot of people and it's like, oh, if I'm not excellent in it right away, I'm not going to do it. But I think that's like anyone who's great at anything sucked at it for a while.
Oh yeah.
Like Michael Jordan, I'm sure at some point sucked at basketball. Tom Brady sucked at football. Tiger Woods was terrible at golf. Now, obviously people have like, some people can catch on to things better and do them better for sure. That's the truth. Like at some point, all of those people were terrible at whatever that thing was. But the thing with all of them is like they put in hours and hours and hours and hours. Like I watched a documentary, I don't know if you're into sports, but like with Tom Brady, and this dude has been doing it longer than anyone. And it's like the amount of time he's still like he's in his mid 40s and he's still like the amount of time he puts into like sharpening his, his skills at his craft. Like it's relentless. Like it's a never ending pursuit of excellence. And I think for some people, it's like they want to put the cart ahead of the horse and they want to be excellent before they go through the growing pains.
Yeah. Which there's no way to getting over that, but through it.
Right.
But honestly, like, I don't know that you've ever created a bad video really, but that's up to
me.
But with that said,
well, there's definitely stuff that it's like, it's not as good as other things that I've done.
Right. I mean, but right. That's there's a lot of things into that, right? Like either time, effort, right? Like obviously, but I think you've mastered a certain way where, again, even in your stories, you're doing something that, you're putting up something, right? You're not just doing things just to do them. And I think that's like crucial. One thing that I would really love to hear, like you kind of give people is how are you able to use a lot of your personality into the videos that you're creating?
So for me, and I think it's so funny. I feel like a lot of people that are in this space say a lot of similar things, but I heard Matt Leonetti had said something in an interview I was listening to the other day where he basically was like, I got into real estate because of my personality. And then I realized that I lost all of my personality once I got into it. And I was like, oh, that's exactly what it was. So for me, it's like I had this personality, very sarcastic, like to have a good time, joke around. And I apologize too. It's getting really dark. I hope that's okay.
It's all right. You're in the East Coast. Yeah.
Yeah. But basically it was, I felt like I got into this industry and I'm like, oh, I'll do well with this. But then it's like, and you'll hear a lot of people that are kind of doing content and things like this say the same thing. It was like you get very self-conscious to where it's like people won't take me serious if I do a video that has humor in it. So for me, it's like I did real estate for the longest time, and it's like I never did content or any videos because it was like this thing of I don't want people to think I'm not
Right. Yeah.
professional, that I'm not good, that I don't know what I'm doing. And so I just didn't do it. And so just to give you like a quick Reader's Digest, like I got to a point where I just was very tired of the whole process of calling leads. And it didn't matter if I knew more than a newer agent or whatever the case was, someone would go with someone that could just open the door quickest for them. So I just got very burnt out, and I was like, dude, I'm just tired of this. Like I'm good. I'm really good at what I do. I don't know anyone in this area that fights as hard as I do for my customers. And I'm just tired of people. Like, it just doesn't matter to people. So it was kind of this thing. It was like, if people don't know you, who you are, like it doesn't matter to them if you're the Michael Jordan of real estate. So it was like this idea of like, I need people to know who I am and what I bring to the table, because I'm just tired of this process of like the way I'm doing business at the moment. So for me, it was, I started to do videos, because it's like, I want people to see that video and be like, oh, I want to work with him. Not like, hey, can you open this door for me? I'm at this house right now. So it's like, I want people to want to work with me. So as far as personality and things like that goes, like for the longest time, I just didn't do it. And then it got to a point like that crossroads to where it's like, if this doesn't work, then I'm just not doing this anymore. Like, I don't want to keep doing it the way that I have been. So I kind of had a, come to Jesus moment, if you will. Like, it's either change or be done with this industry. And so I changed, and, gratefully people embraced it, which everyone's journey is a bit different. Sometimes people are very comfortable, like just stepping in and being like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to do. But I feel like for majority of people, it's kind of like they need to be given like the permission of like, no, you can be yourself in this industry. So another thing that helped too, the broke agent did. So he does like a lot of real estate humor. I don't know if you follow him or not, but
of course.
he did what's that?
I don't know who's not. Of course, those guys.
Who's not? Yeah, he did he used to do like an agent spotlight, and there was, dude, I'm so sorry, it's so dark. Let me see if I can move this forward.
No, actually, I mean, it's not. No, it's not. It's not.
I'm gonna move closer to the window. Hold on.
This is giving you some mystery, if anything.
Mystery, dude. I look like I'm Amish. I don't even have power. Okay, this is a bit better. It was light whenever I started this, and it got dark super quick.
All right, there
he did an agent spotlight, and there was an agent that did like a humorous listing video. And I saw it and I was like, I could do that. You know what I mean? It was like seeing someone do something, and it like was like, oh, I can also do that. And so
the
light bulb turn on, which is also it's really cool too, to like, whenever I get people that start to do video and get into that side of things, and like, oh, you inspired me. It's so humbling, because it's like I had someone that did that for me as well. So
recently I've been speaking with Sean. He's another one. He's like, dude, just trying to get on Derrick's level, man. I'm like, I think a lot of us are.
Yeah, but I mean, literally, like I wasn't doing it. It was, and there's so many other people out there that I think, like, dude, even through social media, it's like you talk to people, and there's like some hilarious people, like even Sean, for example, that like they're just such funny, interesting people that it's like so much bigger than just selling houses. And that's awesome. Like, I've always wanted to be like, I have a small platform, but it's like, that's one thing. Like, I remember, the, encouragement that I had gotten from like the broke agent and actually agents, and, some of these people that like were, really encouraged me, and it like pushed me to keep going. So it's like, I always want, like, whatever my platform is, to be able to do that for other people that are really going after it and doing things outside the box. Like, Sean had messaged me, he was doing like a comic book, like a real estate agent and he was like, is this stupid? I was like, no, dude, this is awesome. Genius. No one else is doing that. Yeah. So it's like, that's the big thing too, man. Like, how there's the market's so saturated. So what can you do to stand out so people remember you? And so I love it. Like, any little bit that I can, support people that are doing that, it's like, yeah, absolutely. Like, there's an abundance of business out there for all of us. So it's like people that are really pushing the envelope and being innovators within this space. It's, I'm all about it. I love it.
The ones that are going to reap the rewards, for sure, man. That's Crazy. Yeah. No, honestly, thank you. Yeah. Guys, I hope you took some of this away, honestly. But let's just to like a little bit more context on there. So obviously, like I think a lot of us understand like the videos is the move. Like that's what you gotta do. You want to separate yourself. But again, some of my clients, for example, looking at your stuff, going, geez, like how do I do that? We know that again, you gotta get started in order to get to that level because you're not just gonna get there. And like you were saying about the juggling balls, you just like it's a muscle that you just got to build and do. So I hope that that's what you guys taking away from this. But when it comes to storytelling specifically, can we get into a little bit of how you put this together, how you come up with your videos, the stories in them? Obviously, they're not just because there's different styles, right? We've seen Chris Benjamin, right? Chris Benjamin has like a totally different style where he's kind of, he says, hey man, I'm just kind of a lot of times reading out definitions to words and, with just like, some kind of costume on or some kind of prop on. So for you, what's that process like when you got a listing, right? How do you
Yeah.
go into like, all right, well, now I'm going to start with this in front of a fire,
Yeah.
what is it? Like, dude, that was genius.
Which one?
The last one when you're like in front of the fire place. It's like
Oh, the real estate stories.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's different things within, and I'm still figuring this out. Like I by no means, have it all figured out. It's a lot of this is just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks. So many times, like I'll do a video and I'll be like, oh, this is gonna pop off. Like this is gonna be huge. And then it totally bombs. So I think, at the end of the day, like the audience decides what's good and what's not. Like I think as artists and creators, like in your head, you're like, oh, this is good. This is what people need to see. But that's like a lot of times, like I'll throw stuff up in stories on Instagram and see how it does. And there's one time in particular, I did a video, like zero intention of posting it on my feed. And I put it in stories and it like popped off. And I was like, what? So I like posted it on my feed and it was like at the time like my best video and it was like I didn't even think it was that great, you know what I mean? But as far as like ideas go, it varies a bit. Like I started this Instagram account, like my Instagram account strictly like business. Like I had my own personal Instagram and I didn't want to be like that guy that's like posting a bunch of like you know what I mean, like real estate stuff. Yeah. Like knowing what I know now, I massive regret doing that. Like because I think at first my intentions with the Instagram account was to post the same old real estate stuff that everyone else. Right, yeah, right. Just sold, just listed, all of that. Like that was the goal. But now I'm like, oh, I'm actually making fun content that, dude, I have so many people that are not even buying houses. Like literally 2 days ago, someone messaged me and was like, hey, just want you to know, like I was looking to get into real estate. And so I followed a bunch of real estate agents and I ended up deciding not to. And he was like, I unfollowed all of them except you because I just think your stuff's so fun. Oh. So it's like knowing what I know now, I would have just had one account, but all that to say like it's changed a bit. Like I'm doing more like skits. So that kind of varies. Like maybe there'll be like a funny topic or some interaction that happens within real estate that makes me think of an idea and I'll do a video to it. Like, I think a lot of things that are very culturally relevant, like for example, Squid Games was massive. I did like a little spoof real estate video to that. It did really, really well. But as far as listing videos go, it really varies. I had one listing that was this massive property in Naples, Florida, and the guy was a massive movie buff. So I went to the listing appointment and he was like so excited about his home theater and his favorite movie was Back to the Future. Well, in addition to that, the guy had like maybe 6-7 garage spaces and it was easy. That one was easy because I'm like, oh, he loves movies. He's got 7 garage spaces, a Back to the Future video. And so sometimes it comes very easy. Other times you might have to work a bit harder for it. But I would say the common thread is usually there's some sort of element with the property that, that I'll look for to come up with the idea. Right. One thing I like to do, I like to use things that have kind of already been done and put a real estate twist to them. I did on YouTube, there's the show Hot Ones. I don't know if you've ever watched it.
No, no, I don't think so. How?
So it's an interview. Like they'll have like celebrities on there and interview them, but during the interview they'll eat a progressively hotter and hotter chicken wing as they go. And
No.
so yeah, dude, it's a great show. And I was like, that would be so funny to do a listing video, but every room you're giving a tour of a house, and every room you go into, you eat a hotter wing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I did that for a listing video. So a lot of concepts are off of like culturally relevant things, pop culture. I think the real estate stories that you talked about, it's just basically me telling stories of real stories that have happened to me and then making them kind of entertaining. That I guess the formula for that is I got the idea off of, have you watched Drunk History?
Of course. Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So the way, like, I love the way that these people would tell a story and then they would say like their characters in the story and talk, and then the person would act it out. So that idea came from that show. Yeah, I feel like I use a lot of things like that to, and then just put my own twist on them. It seems to have done, pretty well.
No, I love it. First of all, that Back to the Future video was amazing. I watched it. I think it was last night or a few days ago, and I thought that was just like incredible. Genius.
Yeah.
One. Two, you're totally right on everything that you said, man. But one quick thing I want to touch on real quick is, and again, I'll actually just recap what you were saying. So, guys, like, definitely look for inspiration everywhere, whether it's a current event, whether it's a movie that's popular out now. I mean, look for what's around you, which means you got to just be aware, and you've got to keep that in back of your mind, because ideally you should be writing these ideas as they come to you, so that when you have a listing or you have something in mind, if not inspiration, like Derrick uses, from the home itself, right? But again, you got this great idea. How do you sell it to the owners? How do you sell it to the sellers?
The owners?
We're gonna start putting we're gonna sell your house using hot chicken. Like how do you?
Man, it's so funny, because some ideas, I'll put it to you this way. From in most cases, like, people that find me are people that, and this is true, like, if you are true to yourself, you'll attract people that are like-minded.
Yep,
and so in most cases, I have attract people that are very like-minded, that are like, yes, I absolutely want you to do that video. Like, no doubt about it.
They're a fan of what you do already. Yeah.
Right. They're a fan. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the reason that was the initial attraction. Like, and that's the thing too. It's like they were attracted to use me as their agent because of what I do. So for the most part, it's very easy. But one case, it did bite me a bit in the butt. Did you see the Crocodile Hunter, the Steve Irwin one?
No, I think
okay.
No, I don't think so. Oh my god.
So and again, I apologize. It's like so dark. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh,
I
realize that you're just a floating head right now.
I know, dude. I look like a mime. I did a let me see if this will help.
No, you're good.
No, not really. I did a Steve Irwin Crocodile Hunter listing video. Last minute, I went to this event like 2 days before I filmed the listing video, and there was a guy that he was called Critter Man, and he had like alligators and snakes, and like it was like a party, and he had all these animals that people could hold and take photos with and all this. So I asked him, I was like, hey man, like, I'm a real estate agent. I'm doing like this Crocodile Hunter listing video. Like, it would take it over the top if I could have like a real alligator and a python in the video. And the guy was like, yeah, I'll bring this up. So he brought an alligator and a python to the video, which is, you have to watch the video. It's kind of nuts. And,
I feel like I may have seen it, but honestly, I'm like, only in Florida.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely a Florida
only
thing.
In Florida.
But the guy comes out. So the sellers of this property are in Germany, and the property was like an Airbnb, and they were selling it because a friend of theirs referred me, and it was like, hey, this is the guy you got to use. They've seen some of my videos, but I was like, hey, can I do a video for this? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. So I do this video, which, by the way, I was not it's funny because I was not like, I didn't know I had a little bit of a fear of pythons until one was around my neck and I'm trying to like film this video. So that in of itself was funny.
Gosh. Yeah.
But I do this whole video and I'm like so happy with how it came out. I think it's funny. Like it's quick, it's punchy. So I sent it to the sellers, like just floored, like excited. Well, the seller in Germany has like a massive fear of snakes. And they were like, they were livid because they're like, there's no snake. Like they thought that I was saying there were snakes at their house. I'm like, no, like it's just like a piece of content to get people's attention, to draw them to your house. And dude, it was really bad to the point I thought they were going to ask me to like get rid of the video. So that was one thing. I got the permission to do a video, but I didn't like, clarify like what I was doing. Cause I didn't think I was going to have like real animals until like the last minute. So that was one time that it almost bit me in the butt. But for the most part, people are usually like really like excited about it.
That's insane.
I know, dude. Nuts.
Wow. That actually made, my wife's sister has a fear of cats.
Of cats
that I don't even begin to comprehend, but it's ridiculous. But she would be one of those people that if you did a video listing with some cats on it, like, dude,
oh yeah,
that's a
she'd be in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's ballsy. But no, honestly, like I think one key thing here for us to take away is obviously you're gonna attract your vibe. If you do what you love doing and you do it how you do it, you're just gonna get people that want to be part of that. And I think that's really huge, man. Kudos to you, because again, that really does take just doing it, risking like your reputation or your name on the line to hopefully have something work your way. That's
well, the thing is too, there's so much business out there, and one thing that I like when I first started in real estate, it was like I'll take whatever I can. Like I don't care the price. Like I don't care if you're a serial killer. Like it doesn't matter. I'll work with everyone. But like as I've done this, it's like I'm like, I don't want to work with everyone. Like I want to work with people that want to work with me, that want to do business, that trust me. Like, dude, having people that trust, like, here's the thing. There's so many agents out there that like anyone, like if someone's just looking for someone that opens a door for them, they can find that easily. But it's so big for me. Like I had this lady, old German lady that loved this woman. She like reminded me of my grandmother, just incredible. And this woman 100% trusted me. Like you're going through this negotiating process, and a lot of times people's emotions get involved. And like a lot of times people will make decisions based off of their emotion, where it's like as agents, like that's our job, is to help navigate this process. And so like I had this lady that was like, whatever you tell me, I trust it. And she knew I had her best intentions. She knew that my whole goal with all of it was like to help her win. Wow. And I want to work with people that will allow me to do my job, because I'm just so much more effective when that's the case. And so, yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I've learned, man. It's like, it's not everyone you want to work with. I think so many times like you kill yourself chasing stuff that you'd be better off, focusing on the people that want to do business with you.
No, you find yourself making money and possibly more miserable than you were when you were broke.
Oh, sure.
Working with the wrong people. I know I certainly experienced that last year as I was, starting business myself. And this year started and I was a lot more selective.
Exactly.
But anyhow, real quick, because I mean, I love everything you've got. I mean, when it comes to storytelling, videos, and how you're doing it, dude, you've given us so much. It's just been mind blowing. But another factor that you're really dominating is like social media and networking. It seems like everyone and everyone knows you, and it isn't necessarily because you're putting out content each and every single day like people feel the pressure to do. You definitely, I feel like, have more of a quality over quantity thing going.
Can I put you on pause and turn a light on? Like
go ahead.
I'm like hold on one second.
Derrick is gonna fix his lighting so you can see him a little better. I can also zoom in on here as well. There we go.
Oh, dude.
Day and night.
Much better, right?
Day and night. Yes. Woo.
I'm so sorry. I to be honest with you, like I had a couple of things going on, and then I was like, oh shoot, it's like 5, and I was scrambling, and I didn't plan out the whole lighting situation. So
it happened. I honestly, like I said, I had that one interview right before. I wanted to come in a little earlier, but no, man, that's what it is. You're a busy guy. We're busy, and this is what it kind of really takes sometimes to just make it work.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate this. But yeah, just, quick, we're almost wrapping up here, but I kind of just wanted to get a little bit of the importance of building those relationships online, not just with your clients, but also others in your same industry?
Yeah. Well, I think you said something as far as like people know, seems like everyone knows who I am. Is that what you had said?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's now like one page that I go that you're either not already following, they're liking your stuff. I mean, I'm like, dude, this guy's
Yeah.
got all the big names.
So,
Man.
to answer that, which that's so awesome that you would say that, because my thought process before I really started to dive into social media was if people don't know who you are, how can they do business with you? And so that was one of those things. It's like with social media and content creation, like it's a way to get your name out there. Dude, I remember after I did the Back to the Future video, there was an agent here locally that had DM'd me on Facebook, and she was like, you keep popping up, like people keep sharing your stuff, and who are you? And
You were on my Explore feed, by the way. I don't know if you know, but
was
you're
I?
popping up even on the
Get out of
Explore.
here.
I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing. It's like, oh no, I've been doing real estate here for a while, but it's like it didn't matter because people didn't know who I was. And so that thing kind of really stood out to me of like being known is like so, underrated. And I think here's the thing. I think there's a lot of agents that kind of are in their comfort zone when it comes to whatever they're doing. Like I was at the Tom Ferry conference, and there were so many agents that are just absolutely destroying it. Like, been in the business forever, doing a ton of deals, and that's great. But I think like with social media, like in the future, like going forward, like this is something that people have to get on board with. It might not affect your business that much now because you have such a built-in clientele.
Right.
But going forward, I mean, it's massively going to affect your business. So that was just kind of one of those things. It's like maybe a little bit ahead of the curve in some sense with the video side of things, but it's so important for people to know who you are. And the fact that like what you said is literally like, that was the goal. Like people know who you are. I forget who said it, but it was like you want to be able to walk into a room and you don't have to introduce yourself. Like people already know who you are.
Yeah. Yep.
And
and honestly, you were also, and sorry to cut you off, but it's kind of like what you were saying earlier. You didn't want to be that realtor that was knocking doors, that was chasing the business. You wanted the business to come to you. And it seems like, it took time, obviously, to get there, but you're there now. And it seems like you're riding a nice high based off all the hard work that's taking you up this far.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes back to kind of where we started with this. I mean, you want abs, you got to eat right. You got to go to the gym. You got to be consistent with it. And it takes time. Like you don't get them overnight. It's a process. And it's the same thing with content, and literally any avenue that you end up going, like all of it's a process. You just got to be willing to put the time into it. For me, the nice thing is like with video, like it's a passion for me. So it's like it's a lot harder for me to give up on it because it's something that I enjoy doing
already.
And I think that's why I always tell people, like, whatever you do, you need to be true to who you are, because if you're not being true to who you are, like, you'll give up on it a lot quicker. Because, dude, I could put out the funniest video when I first start my account and it could totally bomb because no one sees it. It's like, there's something to the consistency and building a following. But I think people will quit on something a lot quicker than they should because, for a variety of reasons, it doesn't pop off immediately or it's not true to who they are. So they give up on it quicker. There's always a photo, which you've probably seen it. It's like a drawing of like this miner and he's like digging for diamonds.
Yeah.
And he's like an inch away from the diamond and he gives up. And like, I always think of that image. Like it's like so many times people quit or give up. Like even in music, there's so many unbelievably bands that are massive now that have been doing it for like 10 years, and they were nobodies for all that time. And then eventually they have that one song that pops off. And so same thing with all of this stuff too. It's like, you just have to be consistent with it, committed with it. It might take a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years. But if you're consistent and you're getting better with what you're doing, eventually, as the gym metaphor goes, abs will start to show up,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that is so true, man. Personally, myself, when I started this account myself about 2 years ago, the first whole year, I didn't really focus on it much. But starting this year, I started just like, again, I said one thing, I'm going to be consistent. That's the only thing. But with a lot of my clients, man, especially like, the realtors, with them, I try to, it's like, hey man, what are you passionate about? Because it isn't to try to go do what Derrick is doing or try to do what Chris is doing. I said, those guys are doing kind of like, they're in their lane.
Yeah.
They're doing what works for them, what they like to do. What are you passionate about? I had one person was like, hey man, I'm passionate about cigars and whatnot. I said, dude, you know how many other people share that same interest with you that they would spark up a conversation on you in the DM only because you're talking about a certain brand that they might know about or whatever. So that's key thing, man. I'm really glad you brought that up. Just, before we go here into the last bit where I ask you 10 questions, just, what's one advice that you'd want to share with someone that obviously is starting in video and wanting to see, the success that you're having?
As far as like someone that's never done it, that's getting into it?
Yeah, someone that's getting started. And I mean, there could be a new realtor or someone that's already a seasoned realtor, but trying to just do video,
I would say don't overcomplicate it. I think you had mentioned it a couple times, like people that see the stuff that I'm doing and like, oh, I'm not going to do it because I'm not at that level. And I think it's so like, this is very basic information, but I think it's something that people need. Like, don't make it complicated. Like, I was talking with Chris about this. So one of the reasons that I recently got a videographer was because of Chris. And a lot of the videos I would do myself. But I recently hired someone and I was telling Chris, I'm like, dude, like it's a lot. Like, to be honest with you, it's so much harder having a videographer than it was just me doing stuff myself, because I'm now responsible for someone else's time. I'm now responsible to, when I show up, I need to have all my stuff together. I can't just, screw around and figure it out as I go. So I think sometimes people look at these high quality videos and they're like, oh, I would do it if I had that. And so they never start, they never go through the process of getting comfortable with the camera, seeing what works, what doesn't. And to be honest with you, at least for me, it's 1,000 times harder with a videographer than it was just me doing it myself. Because dude, I could do a video. I could show up and be like, you know what? I'm not feeling so funny today. I'll do this another day. Yeah. If you're paying someone, you have to show up and have it together. So for people that are just getting into it, I'm telling you, just start and go through the growing pains when it doesn't cost you anything, versus, putting this, picture of what it has to be and then just never starting, because you won't. I'll put it one other example. My nephew wanted to play guitar. Right. So his aunt came to me and she's like, oh, what guitar should I get him? And I'm like, and how many people, it's like, oh, I want to play an instrument. I want to do this, that. I'm like, get him a piece of crap guitar. And she's like, oh no, like I want to get him something nice. I'm like, you don't even know if he's going to be committed to playing. And I was like, why would you spend all of this money when you haven't even demonstrated that you're going to put in the time to develop the calluses on your hands? And so if you're not able to put in the time and the work when you have nothing, like you're not going to do it when you have everything. So advice would be just start and then figure it out as you go. Like maybe you're good at it. And, from there you can expand your budget or whatever the deal is. But don't overcomplicate it.
That was huge. I honestly, that's some of the best piece of advice I think everyone should take away from here, out of everything that you said, which has all been amazing. But honestly, what you just said now, I think rings a bell. I think it's really that important to not focus on what others are doing. Kind of like see what it is that works for you. Just stick to it. Don't overcomplicate it, and just get started, man. That's I really hope you guys all took that.
What is it? It's the line KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid. And even with acting out here, when I first moved down here, I did theater in Florida. So I came out here and I was all like,
wherefore art thou, Romeo?
Yeah, exactly. To be or not to be. And then it was looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, you had too much coffee today?
Yeah.
Man, I just poured out my heart.
Yeah.
And they were like, have you ever heard of less is more?
Yep.
I was like,
wow. Yeah.
I'll bring it down. Okay, got it. Cool. So yeah, less is more, guys. Honestly, that was huge there. And now for my favorite segment of the show, where I ask you these 10 questions. I don't know if you're familiar with a show on Bravo back in the days called The Actor Studio.
I'm not, no.
Yeah, so there was a show called The Actor Studio that the host by the name of James Lipton, he would interview all the big A-listers,
Okay.
Julia Roberts, Brad Pitt, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, all the big guys. And at the end of the interview, he would finish with these 10 questions that I like to call the Buzz in 10 by Lipton questions.
Nice.
And just like answer off the top of your head. There's no need to really go too deep into them. They're just like really fun, quick questions. And we'll end the show with that. So let's go. Question number 1. What is your favorite word?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, dude.
It's great. Whatever. There's no there's no auditing here. There's just like say it as you.
A word I say a lot with my friends is "beh," like "am beh," beh. I say that a lot, but that's probably the worst answer. But yeah, I'll just go with that.
No. You know what? That's a very unique answer, my friend. I love it. I love it. There we go. Something fresh. Question number 2, the opposite. What is your least favorite word?
Moist.
Moist. Oh, I don't know why. You know what?
It's a bad word.
Yeah.
Yeah, get rid of it. Get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Question number 3. What turns you on?
What turns me on?
Yeah,
I'll go with commission check.
Okay. I like that. He's like, I'm gonna keep it PG.
I'm gonna keep it PG.
Audience. All right. The opposite. What turns you off?
Rental lead.
I feel like okay, we have a few realtors here. I feel like they can relate with that one. Question number 5. We're halfway. What sound or noise do you love? You can keep it PG or you can go rated R.
What sound or noise do I love?
He's like, ask me anything video or real estate, bro. I got you.
I like the sound of the football. What is it? The dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah.
I'll go with that.
Yes, I got you. That's a good one. That's a very good one, man. Hey, you're like
a big sports guy. Big sports guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, we gotta do another one of these.
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna go on a side tangent, but no. Let's stick with it. 6. What sound or noise do you hate?
What sound or noise do I hate? I'll be honest. Sometimes hearing my the text ringtone on my phone. You ever get like so many texts and you're like, I want to throw my phone into a lake,
Anxiety. Yeah. You're just like, oh God,
geez.
Shit. That's right. Gotta get back to this person.
Yeah.
I'm a bad guy. All right. Question number 7. What is your favorite curse word?
I'll be honest. I'm not a big cursor. My family's missionaries, so
that's right. There you go. Okay. Well, listen, there's a first for many. For everything. There you go. I love it. Question number 2, and then the last question were very unique answers. I love it. All right, perfect. Takes us to the next thing. Question number 8. What profession? And I think you kind of even answered this earlier. What profession, other than yourself, would you like to attempt?
Oh, musician, right?
Yeah, right. I figured. I could see that too, bro.
Yeah.
Like here,
another thing, and I think I was messaging with you. It's a weird thing, but I always was like very fascinated with special effects. Like growing up, and I think it was you I was messaging with, or maybe it might have been someone else, but my brother used to always do videos and stuff, and I was like, would always do like the blood and the gore and all that sort of stuff. And so I always was very fascinated with that.
So whether it was, whether it's like singing, I mean, you're just like the arts. You like the arts, right? You're creative.
I mean, definitely it's the creative side. And to make it quick, another big motivator to doing videos was I was doing music, we were touring, and then with COVID, all that kind of stopped. And I was like, if I'm not being creative, I'm going to die. So it was like videos was kind of my creative outlet. So yeah, definitely a creative.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, man, because I think a lot of people want to get into the video because of like the ROI in it or the business that they think they're going to get, but they're going to ultimately fail if they're not doing it because they're just passionate about what they're doing.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I said to you. It's like, it's easier to give up on something if it's, if it's not something you love, like you're just not, because I think all of this stuff, it's like there's growing pains. It's a process. It's like, even like I said, musicians earlier, it's like people that build bands and stuff, like for the most part, unless you're on like an American Idol or one of, The Voice, most of these bands and artists that you love are people that have been doing it for years. So, and it's because they love it. They're passionate about it. So it's like, even in the hard times, they're going to keep doing it. So same thing with video. Yeah. If you don't have a passionate or love for it, it's a lot harder to stay committed to it.
No, and one thing that I've learned from actually, watching some of those shows that you've talked about is that whether you're 30, 40, 50, a lot of those people that just stuck with it, they end up getting their shot.
Yep.
They end up getting their 15 seconds of fame. So, yeah, definitely. That's deep, man. I'm glad you went into that. But let's keep it going. Quick.
Okay.
Question number 9, the opposite. What profession would you not like to do?
Oh, anything with physical labor. Dude, I worked at Sherwin-Williams, and I remember like being in the hot warehouse, like with these 5-gallon buckets of paint, and I was like, I hate this. Like, I hate it. Miserable. Yeah.
Yeah.
People building houses, and like, dude, I have such respect for like, that are putting, road work and all, like,
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. And I have such a respect for people that, like, especially here in Florida, man, it's like so hot. Like,
yes, the humidity out there.
As much as I want to complain about stuff from times to times, I'm so blessed, and I have it so much easier than a lot of other people that are like really like killing themselves. So yeah, I would probably say something construction, physical labor. Plus, I suck at anything construction. Dude, I can't even screw in a light bulb.
You're like, I've got soft hands, man. It's just
I know exactly. Yeah, exactly.
All right, man. Last and final question, guys, is my favorite one. Question number 10. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well, I would probably say, well done. Like, you did a good job.
Well done, sir.
Well done.
He's good. He's good.
Yeah. Well done.
Hey, man, that's definitely, you're definitely like undervaluing yourself. I think, he's going to be, man, I've been waiting for this guy to walk in. Come on, man. We got some shit to talk about.
Exactly, dude.
You'll be like, oh, shit, he knows who I am?
Yeah. Oh, look at this. I made it.
Oh, do I?
What up, J-Dog? How you doing?
J-Dog. Oh my God, dude, that was amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and chat with me, and obviously share your experience with my audience, which is, we're not necessarily big yet, but we're a growing audience. And a lot of us, a lot of them are real estate agents. They're either, a lot of them are starting or want to do what you're doing. So thank you for taking the time. For those of us watching that are not already following you, where can they follow you and have a chat with you?
You can on all social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. The handle is at Derrick, DERRICK, SWFL, Southwest Florida, Realtor.
All right, guys, you heard that. Please make sure to follow him, support his content, learn from what he's doing as well, and make sure you're sharing his stuff to your followers as well. Derrick, man, what an awesome chat, dude. We even went longer than I told you. So thank you for not, just cutting the whole thing off like halfway through. I really appreciate you, boss. We're going to continue watching what you're doing. You're an inspiration to all of us. Again, you're just like bearing yourself out there, vulnerable, doing these videos that a lot of us would be, afraid to do. So yeah, man, a lot of my hats off to you, bro.
Thank you, man. Next time I do one of these, I'll make sure to have a better lighting setup. I apologize.
No, hey, you know what? When you're, certain people can get away with certain.
Yeah.
You're one
See, I mean, even I don't have it all figured out. I was literally doing a podcast in a black room,
Hey, man, that's when people say they got away with that, man.
Yeah.
I think it worked out. There was definitely, I think, tons of people here on my live, which, it isn't the best view, but dude, you like, cool. you bring people to you. You attract, you're a magnet.
Thank you.
So thank you, man. Again, dude, it's going to, probably be a more tough holiday this time around, but, again, we send you strength. And like I said, we'll be watching you, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure. Make sure to tune in. This really does wrap the season for us. We saved the best for last. This will probably be the last live stream that we do on Facebook here till 2022. But there's be a lot of great things coming up. So for those of you that have been watching, and tuning in. Thank you so much for your support. New School Marketing for Real Estate Pros will continue in 2022. Until next time, y'all, thank you very much. We'll see you next.